Let's do this.
Do you want me to take headphones as well?
It's up to you. I'm going to do headphones. I think you're fine.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool. Are you ready to do this?
I am very ready.
And are you in Prague?
Yes, I'm in Prague, Czech Republic.
Beautiful. When we met briefly, it really marked the beginning of the end of everything.
Yes, it did. Yes. Also Corona and lockdowns and everything.
The woman you hear is former world number 16, currently and former world number 1 doubles player. She is one of the most effervescent and fashionable people on tour. She's laughing at me as I'm watching her in her Michael Jordan t-shirt.
Because I'm laughing, I'm wearing Michael Jordan because I was just watching recently The Last Dance, so I'm like, I have to take it.
And that is Barbora Strycova.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Before we get into the 5-set format, The Last Dance, those last 2 episodes aired last night in the United States. Did you see those 2?
No, don't tell me, please.
So what number are you up to?
Well, I am finishing, I have to see last 2.
Okay.
I finished number 8.
Okay.
So
I
love that show.
Yeah,
it's documentary.
It's been amazing. For me, for the last 5 Sunday nights, I've had something to look forward to watching, and I've really enjoyed that. It's actually been the one.
We have it here on Mondays. So every time Mondays are tonight is the night,
Yeah, I actually have something interesting I want to talk about regarding the documentary, but I'm gonna pull that down to a little bit later in the show. But as you know, we do the 5-set format. The first set is the off the court report. You seem to have been, keeping things moving quite seamlessly. How has this lockdown been for you? When we left, did you fly back to Prague?
Well, when the last time, I was in Indian Wells, and then it was on Sunday, and then they announced it actually Sunday morning, and I saw you Sunday afternoon, I guess.
No, I think they announced it Sunday night. No.
True, and then I saw you on Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I flew on Tuesday to see my sister in Florida, and we had to stay there because we didn't know if they're gonna cancel Miami or not, if it's gonna be still we're gonna go there. So we stayed there for 3-4 days. But then obviously they canceled the tournament, and they told us to kind of rush to Europe, rush home, because we didn't know if there will be some flights or this and that. So
what happened was President they announced a travel ban.
Yeah.
And they made it sound like if you didn't get back to Europe or wherever you were from,
it sounded like we are in a war. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna go back home and this and that.
Yeah.
So we flew, and our agent was like, yeah, fly as soon as possible. And I'm like, no, I want to see my sister. I want to be with her because I don't see her that much. And he goes all the time like, no, you have to fly back. So we flew on Saturday. Well, and since then, which is kind of 2 months, even more, we are home. And but I have to say, here in Czech and Prague, it's getting a little bit better, and the shops are open, restaurants are open. We still have to wear the masks, but for us, for tennis players, and especially for me, I'm a person who likes to do a lot of stuff, who likes to go out, and who likes to kind of travel. And you go from this high totally to zero, and you are on one place in your living room, and you are working out like an idiot all day long. And I'm going crazy at the beginning, but now I find my rhythm. I found okay, I can go out to have some drinks, so it's good.
Now, I can't recall when it was, but for some reason I think it was in Australia, or I'm not sure, but I saw a post you made where you said, if I don't keep it moving, I'll stop
Yeah,
moving.
yeah,
Because you
that's
said
true.
basically at my age, you said something to
Yeah,
the extent of like, at
that's
my,
what I said exactly. Yeah,
you
it
said,
was in Australia.
you said if I don't keep it going, that's a problem.
Well,
So my question is, have you kept it going because you know that if you stop, you're just gonna like completely shut it down?
yes, I have to keep things moving. I have to have my plan because otherwise, I will be done. I will be done with my tennis because I'm 34 years old, and it's an age where you can call like you can finish your career. No one would say anything, but I feel like it's not the time yet, and it wouldn't be the right time to finish with my tennis. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. I have to be busy, otherwise I'm going crazy because I start to do my own show. I start to do some, maybe some camps, so some little stuff where I look forward to and I can plan, and that makes me busy. It's really good for my head. Otherwise, if I'm just, doing yoga once a day and just kind of like relaxing, it's good. It's good, but for me, I need to have the adrenaline. I need to have maybe the little bit of a pressure that I challenge myself. So this is happening.
Now, you've also used this time to start your own podcast.
I
Um,
did.
yes. Now, what's the name of it? I don't know how you pronounce that. It's because I just see the English
Well,
letters.
my short name is Bara, but if you say it with the last letter with you, Baru, it means you are at the bar.
Okay,
So you are
Baru.
talking with me with my name at the bar.
Okay. So how do you say the name of the show? Baru?
U Baru with like at the bar, at the
Uba
bar.
Ubaru.
Baru. Yeah,
Ubaru
true.
with
Yeah.
Barbara Strycova. That's
Yes.
cool. And 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 your show is a Czech only interview show,
um
or will you have others
well,
on the show?
Well, for now, I had only Czech and Slovakian people,
Right.
but I would not say like I will have only from Czech Republic speaking only Czech. I want to do also some English people, and also I have a lot of friends speaking English, so I want to do that. But for now, I want to stay like it is, and when everything is get to normal, hopefully it will be soon. I want to try speak to the person like face to face. I want to try it, not only like that. I want to experience how it feels, how it is. So for now, I really like it, but it's not easy. It's really tough. It's really tough.
What part do you find tough?
Well, I find tough like I prepare myself with questions. You have to do the research, like you have to do as well, and I feel like I need to be like I need to entertain the person that like I don't feel like he doesn't like it or he is bored. And that I'm kind of like a little bit scared that my questions will be all right and this and that. So this is tough for me, and also that you have to focus what the person is talking about, and then you have to also focus on your questions to not get lost.
Well,
So
I'm touched that you are observant to see for the people that care. You know,
wow, I am like, wow, this is a really tough job.
well, it's not tough for the people that just ask bad questions, right? Like if you go to a
No, it's
press
not, but
for the people that
you are
ask good
great.
questions. Yeah.
True, and you want to ask good questions, and you want to ask questions who also you are interested in, and then it takes time to do the research, and it takes time to get ready for it. But this is how I like to do it, and I think this is how it should be done. I'm a rookie, and I'm really bad, but this is I feel like it should be like that.
I can't critique yours because I don't speak Czech, but
I
if
know.
it's tough. But I did see that you did an Instagram live with Jaromir Jagr, and
Yes.
this guy is, for me, I come from a place where hockey is a real thing, and
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. And this guy is really one of the great athletes in the history of sports. What did he
He's a
have?
legend.
I just have to ask you, what did he have to say for himself?
Well, he is a legend, and then I was thinking like, okay, I had like an actor, I had a singer, so I want to have like an athlete. So I was thinking about him, and then I approached him with a message, and he was so good because at that time when I sent him the message, he replied like in 15 minutes, and he goes like, for now I can't do it, but I will let you know when I can. So I was like, okay, he will let me know. He will never let me know, but whatever. And it comes like 5 days later, he is writing me, okay, I can do it in this time. And I was like, wow, he's so cool. He didn't forget me. We know each other, but still, he is a legend and he has so much stuff to do. And it happened, and I was very uh, it was deep. It was a deep conversation about religion,
Really?
about how he, yeah, about how he approach. He's 48, so I asked him what he loved about hockey, that he's still doing it, that he's still active. It was very, very interesting conversation.
For our listeners, just real briefly, if you don't know who Jaromir Jagr is, he is one of the great hockey players in the history of the sport. He probably started playing pro hockey at 16, and I think he continues to play, which is amazing.
Yeah, he's still playing. He's active. Yes.
Yeah, he's an active. He's played 32 years of pro sports, which is just unbelievable. Let's move into our second set. This is the on the court report. My first question to you is, what have your impressions been of what's gone on in pro tennis since the shutdown?
Uh, since the shutdown was going on in women tennis,
Oh,
well,
I
not
think
much.
in tennis, I think like it has the talk of a merger been something that you've paid attention to, or do you think it's just people just talking?
Well, I mean, there was a Roger Federer announced that it would be really good to get together ATP and WTA. So if something like this Roger says, he doesn't say anything that much. So if he says something, it means already that maybe it can happen. And for us, for the WTA tour, it would be, I think, really great that it would help us and we can get back on tour like all together stronger, because for tennis players and for the tour, doesn't matter if it's ATP or WTA, to get back it's really tough because we are losing a lot of money with not happening the tournaments. And even though if there will be a tournament, there will not be a spectators, so still we are losing a lot of money, and it's really tough for tennis. The situation is hard. Yeah, but I have to say that we here in Czech Republic, we are going to have many tournaments, and we are starting on 25th May, because it's a lot of us. It's like Petra, Carolina. It's like 8 people, top 50. So we did like two groups with 6 players on each group, and we're gonna play matches, which is great because to not have anything and to not have a tournament that you can prepare for, you don't have the motivation. So at least you train a little bit for something, and that you enjoy, and it's gonna happen. And I really can't wait to hit a ball and to play the match again.
That's cool. When Roger sent that tweet, did you
Yeah.
did you call did you call your agent, or did you have any sort of you know
Well,
you know
I'm talking a lot to Belinda Bencic. I'm talking to
yeah
her a lot about it, but not just about that one. But we talk like nearly every day about the situation, what's going on, and this and that. And when he tweeted, I asked her what she thinks about it, and she said like, yeah, I think it's gonna happen, because if Roger says something like this, something really huge, I think there will be something behind it. So, well, it's a process, and it's gonna be difficult to deal with all the things, but if it's happening, it would be great. I think it would be really helpful for us.
have you been hitting balls?
I have been, yes. I have been hitting ball. I didn't hit for 4 weeks, and then when we could go out and play tennis again. So I'm hitting like 3 times a week. But to be honest, to have motivation to hit, it's hard because for now, like we have the tournament, we have the exhibition, so you know, okay, I'm working for this one, I can hit balls, and we're gonna have in 2 weeks I can play a match. But at the beginning it was so tough. It was so tough to just go out and hit the balls because you don't have any goal, and you are like, why I am here just to move my ass? Yeah, good, great, why?
Um, I think you said it earlier, but just to be clear, has the shutdown impacted your future in terms of what you're thinking? I've listened to you on the Racket Magazine podcast. I
Yeah,
listened to you with Ben, and you've talked about finishing pretty
yeah.
significantly. Has this
Well,
impacted that?
actually, as you know, we supposed to have the Olympics, and it was my biggest goal this year, and it was a huge motivation to get there and to play there, and even to maybe finish the career over there because it would be my third Olympic Games, and I thought for myself to finish there it would be great. And when they announced it, I kind of knew that's gonna happen, but when they announced it officially, it was like, wow, I okay, what I'm gonna do? I don't know if I'm gonna wait for 1.5 year again because it's such a long time for a tennis player, especially in the age what I have. And like, I don't want to finish because of a virus. I don't want to finish like this. I want to be on court and I want to play a match. Doesn't matter how it ends, but I want to be on my place what I love, and there I want to finish. So for now, I'm going to continue. I'm going to work, and doesn't I want to finish at the tennis court, not at home with lockdown.
Yeah, and also to that point, you really started playing your best tennis in the past couple of years. Like you got to keep it moving. Like you could,
Yeah,
yeah,
I gotta keep it moving because especially also this year we had a great start with Suwei, and I felt also good in singles. My body was holding great, and I was feeling mentally very strong. And then suddenly this happened, but I feel like I am still good physically. I feel really great. So why there is no point to just say goodbye because I don't feel like it.
don't say goodbye. Let's move into our third set. This is the portion of our show where we talk about your career. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that you've been asked and answered a lot of the subject matter, but I'd like to, hopefully I have some, hopefully I have something maybe a little different for you. But where does your tennis actually begin?
It began, like you mean when, what, which age?
Where did you start? How did you get good?
Oh, okay. So I was 4 years old, and I have a 8-year-old sister, and we were like living next to a tennis court, and my sister was doing tennis and also doing figure skating, same as me. So we were kind of changing between these two sports, and age 4 I pick up the racket and I was hitting against the wall all the time, all day long, and I loved it. And also I was doing the skates. And when I was 12 I had to decide because I was doing both really good. Tennis was a little bit better, but I was good at both. So I had to decide when I was 12, and I choose tennis by my choice, not my parents, which is really important, I think.
And how
And
and I'm sorry, how good were you at 12? Were you playing international? Were you playing
yeah,
Petit A? Were you traveling to
yeah.
Florida? All that.
Yeah, I played all that. I played a lot of in Kufstein in Germany. So, and I was winning the tournaments. So I kind of, well, not me, but my parents felt like I have potential, and I was beating much older players. So they thought like, okay, she is pretty good, and I had already my own physical coach who teach me how to run on court, how to move on the court, which was really important. So I started hitting the ball very good age 12, and then it was kind of like getting like I was traveling around the world. I had my own coach, and then I would become number one in juniors, and from that point I was rolling. But
Now,
I have a lot of up and down.
no, no, incredible. But you really, when your story is told, they say, listen, this is one of the great juniors there ever was, that you played great junior tennis. When you look back at that moment, I know you've said that, you got a lot of attention from guys and it was fun, but was it really fun, or was it sort of
You mean
was
the
it sort
junior time?
yeah, was it sort of hard?
Well, both. It was fun on the because there was um, there was relationships with, also we had a nice team, a group of people, friends. There was a lot of friends, but there was also for me a lot of pressure from outside, not from my parents, but I also put myself like a lot of pressure because I was winning a lot, and I won twice the Austrian Open. I We won a lot of doubles in Grand Slam, so I put myself under pressure a lot. And at the end, I when I think back, I it was too much. It was too much because I couldn't handle to go from juniors to WTA, because there I start to lose, and I was not ready for loses, and I didn't know how to approach it. I didn't know how to take it. So it was fun, but it was also very, very tough mentally.
Now, um, was there ever a specific moment where you said, listen, I'm going to be a pro tennis player, that is it? As opposed to say, oh well, I'm really good, I'll go to college, and that's
Yeah,
also.
I know that moment. I know exactly when. It was when I won the Austrian Open 2002. I felt like I want to be great, and I know I want to be like professionally. I want to play professionally. So 2002 was the turning point when I said, okay, this is my job. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it great.
And you beat Maria Sharapova there,
Yes, yes.
and 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 she had been identified obviously as a star.
She
Um,
is a star. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, at that moment though, she had been identified as a star. Um, did you look back on that moment as an interesting moment in both careers?
Yeah, because I think the year before we had a tournament here in my hometown, and she was there, and I wasn't playing, and she was at my home, and I showed her the club where I am training, and she was there with her father, so she was very, very friendly. And then the year later we are playing against each other at the Austrian Open, and then we are seeing each other on the tour, and it become different because you know how it is, it's such an individual sport, so we don't focus on the other one, and we are kind of like this. But it was very interesting, and I think also she was writing something about it in her book. And yeah, I think if
Well,
I
in
would
her
meet
book,
her,
she said she was jealous of your boyfriend.
yeah, yeah, with Philip Fetchner. But I didn't know that she liked him, and I was like, whoa, that was also a good one.
Everything
Yeah,
is
but
everything is sort of competitive when you're so young, and maybe it just carries
totally.
over. Yeah. Um,
Totally, but it would be nice if we would meet each other someday and just talk about it, because it's such a nice memories.
I'm sure you will now. Everyone's got time. Um,
Yeah, we just have to travel.
so Barbara, what did you leave school? Did you finish school, or did you
Yeah,
just
I did.
stop?
No, no, no. I did finish school. Yeah, it was my mom's. Like I had to promise her that I'm gonna finish high school, and otherwise I will not play tennis. So she was really deep, deep into this, that I had to finish the school and I had to take the diploma and this and that. So I have finished
You
my
did.
school. Yes.
Um, how tough was it for you? I mean, you shot up to the top 50, and then you shot down to 220.
Yeah.
When you look at your result, it's really an amazing thing. It's like you went to the sun, and then you burnt up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this was exactly what I was saying at the beginning because it was the first year I became professional tennis player. I was playing on tour. I was playing the ITF tournaments, the smaller 125s, and I was reaching like semifinals, finals, and the first year I become top 50 because nobody knows you. You are a new player, so not so many people know how to play against you. So you are kind of like, I have nothing to lose, so I'm gonna play, and I'm winning a lot of matches and this and that. But the next year you have to defend your points and you have to be ready because the people are getting to know you. They know how to play and they know how to approach your game. So I, like I said before, I was not ready for that, and mentally for me it was terrible. It was terrible. I wanted to finish tennis. I didn't want it to play anymore. I didn't enjoy anything of it.
The losing, the
Yeah,
losing.
yeah. The losing was for me like uh losing a match was like I disappoint myself, I disappoint all the people. I was scared before the matches. I didn't want to step on the court. I was like scared. I had doubts. I didn't believe in myself anything. It was really a struggling moment where I was like, whoa, I don't want to do this. I was crying before the matches, and
Crying.
it was yeah, it was I was so scared to step on the court that I cried. I was like, I can't do this. I cannot go there. And yeah, somehow I went through it, and it also made me stronger.
Um, did you got married?
Yeah,
You got married like what were you like 20 years old?
I was 20. I was
20.
20. Yeah, it was a huge laugh. Lasted 6 years, but
But he was your coach.
he was my
So
coach,
you married
and
your coach at 20 years old.
no,
No.
he was just my husband, and then he became my coach. He also was a player, like professionally. But I think that was the mistake we did, because to work with your, well, I can't do it. To work with your husband or a boyfriend, for me, I would never do this mistake again because I can't separate it. I am very emotional, and I'm bringing this at home, and I'm talking about it all the time, forehand cross instead of playing cooking dinner.
But did the marriage uh impact the career as well? If you look back, did you play bad tennis as a
Mm,
wife and player?
yeah, no, it did. It did not because um, I felt at that moment it was really a right decision for me. But I didn't play bad because of the marriage. I played bad because I struggled with my emotions and with myself of putting myself all the time down, and I saw everything dark, and that was only my mistake, no other. And I was also behaving bad to people around me, that I because I was feeling shit. That's why I was behaving not right how I should be behaving. So this was only my mistake. No marriage, no husband mistake, no one's, just mine.
Barbora Strycova doesn't blame them, doesn't blame
No, 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 no,
anybody.
no.
You blame yourself.
Yeah, I do. I blame myself, because there's. I think you shouldn't blame others, because you should start with yourself and then you can look for others.
Good lessons. Um, the Czech history in tennis is so incredible.
Hmm.
Do you have fluid relationships with Hanla Mandlikova or Martina Navratilova, Helena Sukova? Do you know the? I mean, are you with this group in a significant way?
Well, we we don't call, we don't text each other, but every time when we see each other at the tournaments, especially Grand Slams, we talk to each other. We talk about matches, especially with Martina. She's commentating a lot, so she goes like, "Okay, this was the moment. This one you should play, maybe that and this." It's great. I saw her last time in Shenzhen at Masters, and she was watching our finals, and she goes like, because she was giving the trophy for the winners, and she was nearly crying because she saw me, I was crying, and it was really nice. So I talked to her a lot about about matches, about how to approach some situations. She is a really great mentor.
Um, do you know Hanna Mandlikova or the daughter? Is the daughter going to be a good player? Do we know?
Well, I can't tell you because I saw her just once or twice. I saw her, and she is pretty good. So I think she can be, but I think yeah,
We'll see. You're not sure.
we see. She has still a long way to go.
How did you become so proficient on grass? Where
Well, well, since young age, I was training a lot of volleys and a lot of these tricky points, slice and serve and volley, and I had a lot of coaches who taught me to play like this because I'm small. I don't have so much power. I don't have the power to hit the ball quick, so I had to become like a tricky player, a fast player. And a grass court is a great surface to play all these things and all these tricky points. And for me to play on the grass, it's like a heaven. I love it. I can play whatever I want. I can play shitty ball, and it's like jumping this high, and you always have a chance. And I really enjoy playing on it, and it doesn't hurt so much. Maybe sometimes your ass is burning, but otherwise it's a great surface for me. Just pity that it's just like 3 tournaments of the year.
um your 2018 Wimbledon was just so unbelievable. Would it be
19.
sorry 19? The
Yeah.
2019 Wimbledon was so unbelievable. Um, the best 2 3 weeks of your life in tennis.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I describe it like, before we talk about how I was bad to myself, I doubt myself, and at that point, I had a, not at that point, but I am working with my mental coach for like 6 or 7 years, and when I came to the Wimbledon 2019, my team and we were working all to play well there the whole year, to prepare the schedule to play good there. And I came there, and it was for 3 weeks. I i loved myself. I loved the way everything was. Like, I was looking forward to play the matches with doubts. I had doubts and I had fear, but I took it like it's my part. It's just like part of me, and I didn't focus on it. And it was something like, I don't know if I will have this feeling again, but I worked my whole tennis career to that point, and that happened over there because it happened so much stuff over there. I become number one. I won Wimbledon in doubles. I was in the semifinal, and it's so many things happen in one or two days. Like, it was something I couldn't describe at that moment, and I came home and I was crying for 2 days because I was like so happy, but so crazy empty, and so like I wanted to say it, and I didn't know how to say how I feel. It was so incredible.
That's now. How important was the doubles to the singles those 2 weeks? Because the doubles results are unbelievable. You guys didn't drop a set.
No,
You,
it's just unbelievable.
I
Yeah,
mean, you
we
didn't
didn't.
drop a set. You beat Babos and Mladenovic. I mean, you routined everybody. How
Yes,
important
yes.
was the doubles to the singles?
It was so important because I finished my singles, and I knew it was like 4 days straight. I played 2 matches in a row, and I was like, okay, I finished the singles, and I knew I'm going in 1 hour to play doubles, and I didn't like, I was focused, but my head was like, yeah, let's play. I'm playing another single match, and I was so free in my head, and it was so good to play it. It was kind of like a practice, but like I didn't put so much pressure on myself because I also felt like Sue is there and she's holding me, and she was really important part of the way that we played that good.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you about her. She just seems like such a funky chick, and so
She's very funky.
yeah, she's just got such a sort of effervescent way about
Yeah.
her. Did she warm you up for your singles? Did you like eat lunch with her? Do you make joke or you just go on the court together? What's that
Wow,
relation?
listen to this. Listen
Yeah.
to this. You will not believe. So the whole 2 weeks, like I am warming up for my singles, right? And but not with her, with my coach. And for like 12 days, I'm warming up with my coach. And then we are playing semifinal. And it was the first time we warm up with each other. And we are like, oh my god, this is weird to warm up with you, Su-Wei. And she was like, yeah, it's weird to see you. We just met at the gym to warm up for our match, but we didn't hit with each other. But not that we didn't want, but it was just like planned like that. But of course we saw each other. She went to support me for my singles, but we didn't spend so much time with each other on court.
Um, how did you become a doubles team? Who approached who, and where did that? What's the story behind that?
Well, it's a long story. I mean, we won Indian Wells 2017, and it was by accident because I supposed to play with another player, and she was injured, and then I asked Su-Wei, and we last minute we signed in, but really like 5 minutes to 12 we signed in, and we won this tournament. I'm like, whoa, this is good. But at that moment, I was playing with Andrea, and she had also a partner, and then Andrea got pregnant at the end of the year. So I'm like, oh, okay. She told me in November who I'm gonna ask to play doubles, and I was like, okay, Su-Wei. And I called her, and she goes like, yeah, we can play, but after Austrian Open because I have already someone. So we start to play in Doha, Dubai, and we lost first round in Doha, and then we won Dubai, and since then we are playing with each other, and it's great. But we know each other since we are like 12 because we played juniors together, so we know each other. And we at the beginning we didn't like each other that much, not like at the like 10 years ago. We were not the same. We are totally different characters. Like she's so different than me, but now we really enjoy each other on court and off the court especially as well.
And have you ever had any interesting conversations with her about her tennis and how she? Because sometimes it looks like the racket is too heavy for her arms, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Like she's got
she's
such a
so
loosey
I
style. It's so
know, I
crazy.
know. But she's so tiny and she has such a powerful approach and strokes. It's I talked to her about it, and she has a really quick eye and she can see the ball very, very early. So that's why she's playing the way she does. But she is a person who you cannot really say, okay, we're gonna play two cross and then we go down the line. She goes like, I play how I feel it. And she goes like, I play like this and this that. But she does that, and it's a great. She's so unique, and especially when we play double, sometimes she's playing volleys where I'm like, how did you do that? I'm asking her constantly all the time during the matches, how did you do that? Ah, that's normal. We train this. And she goes on, and I'm like, okay, good. Play it like the way you do. It's great. She's amazing.
And I can just imagine that seeing her would make you sort of relaxed and happy. Like it seems
Yeah.
general, yeah. Which brings me to my last question about your doubles. When I introduced myself to you, I asked you a question because I was at your doubles final in Australia, and
Uh huh.
I was close to the court, and I was asked you who you were screaming at in the box, and you laughed and you said, "Oh, that's my boyfriend I was yelling at." How does he handle that? And what's the story behind that? Do you just yell at him, or do you yell at everyone? Like at some point it looked like you were trying
Well,
to fire up the box. Like what's your style?
as you know, as you know, I am very emotional, and sometimes my emotions has to go out from my body. And when you losing the way you lose it during the finals, because we got kicked like hardcore, they were playing really good tennis. So I was kind of what to do, and then I turn and I'm seeing them like they are not doing anything. But on the other hand, they cannot do anything. So I'm like, say something to us, say something, push us. And they are like, oh my god, we should push them. What sometimes he takes it like in good, but on the other hand, he tells me like, maybe next time, a little bit, like, control your emotions, control it. but it's hard.
I was gonna ask if he ever says, "Listen, that's like a little too much." You know, like I don't know if I could handle that, just being screamed at by my
But you
girlfriend.
have to also you have to take it the way that it's a lot of pressure on the court, and I know we shouldn't be screaming to our loved ones, but they are the ones who are the closest to us, so you want them to know how you feel. But you're right, we shouldn't be doing that, but sometimes I can't handle.
How would you describe, now that you're coming close to the end, your pro
Mhm.
career? What would you say to someone that maybe doesn't know that much about you?
Well, I would say that if I could change one thing, I would change that I would start working on my mental aspects earlier, because it's the same way that you go train every day, but you have to train your head as well. You have to train the situations. You have to visualize all the time, and meditation is great. So I would do this much earlier. But tennis is such a great sport. It's a very fair sport. So just but be ready that it's really hard, and what you don't really earn, you will never get easy. But do everything 100%. Doesn't matter if it's on a tennis court or if it's in the park and you go run. Do it 100%. But at the end of the day, you can tell only yourself that you did what you could, and that's it. That's it. And I think uh, if I would have a child, I would like that he or she plays tennis.
Are you proud of your career?
I am proud. I am proud. I was thinking, because I get a lot of questions about if I would like to write a book. I'm not. I don't think I would like to. But what I would like to write about would be the emotions and the feelings, what I described at the beginning, when you are scared of something and you cannot handle. And I would like to describe these feelings, because it's really important for the people that they know how tough it is when you are somewhere in Australia and you are there alone, and you are a woman and you lose a match, and you want to call home, and there is you cannot, because the jet lag, the time zones, it's really hard. And I would like to describe these moments and situations what I had during my tennis career to the people, that they know it's not just nice hotels, nice parties, nice tennis courts, nice center courts. It's not only about this. It's also the other part where you are a lot of time alone, and it's tough to handle it. But I
Let
am proud. I am very proud of my career.
Let's move into our fourth set. This is the
Yeah.
10-ball scramble.
Oh,
This is not a deep dive. I say something and you say what comes into your mind.
okay.
But the first thing, you have to describe a little bit. How do you pick your side in doubles? Do you always play the ad court?
Yes, I always play the ad court.
Why?
Yes, because I think my return from backhand is better.
Favorite city?
London,
Favorite tournament?
Australian Open. Oh, sorry, Wimbledon.
Do you like the Aussie too, though, huh?
Yeah, I love it.
Favorite court? Could be any court in the world.
Center court at Wimbledon.
Your best win?
Quarterfinals against Johanna Konta.
You really blew her off the court in that second set. The first set
Yeah,
was the first set was a war.
it was a war. I was 4-1 down, and I was like, "Oh my god, I am scared of this court." Like, I'm playing on center court, and then I won that match. It was amazing.
I mean, to beat the hometown player on center court
Yes.
Wimbledon is incredible. Your worst loss?
Um, worst
Is there
loss.
one that just sticks out like, oh my god?
Oh yeah, I had U.S. Open against Sabina Lisicki, third round. I was 5-1 up in the third set, and I lost 7-5.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Your favorite designer?
Um, favorite designer, I like Victoria Beckham.
Really?
Yeah, I do like her.
I mean,
But I have many. So if this comes to my mind, but I had many.
we see you in Balenciaga on the cover of Elle. I've seen you in rowing blazers. Do you have
Yeah.
sort of a I don't know, sort of a philosophy about fashion that you
I don't know if I have philosophy, but I like to play with colors and with all the material what I have, and I like to also know a lot about the designer, the way why he does this and that. So I really like to know more about design and clothes.
where do you keep your trophies?
At home, some, and at my parents' house.
Do you save your credentials?
I do.
Where do you put them?
I do.
Where are they? Where are they?
At my parents, because I had a huge box already, like two of them, and I didn't have place to put it, so I brought it to my parents' house. But I do. I am superstitious kind of about it.
You keep your credentials.
Yeah.
Your favorite player growing up?
Steffi Graf.
Your favorite player now? Could be man or woman.
Uh, Rafa Nadal.
Your favorite racket?
Wilson.
Which one do you play with?
Blade.
And you like that racket?
I do.
Your favorite thing to eat?
Oh my god, I can't tell one. So, okay. Well, first thing to come to my head is chicken wings. I love chicken wings, but I also like pizza. I like cakes. I am like crazy about food. I love to eat, but I have to watch out.
Us short people, we need to be careful.
Yeah, so careful.
Too careful.
Yeah.
Let's move into our fifth and final set. We call this the Queen of the Court.
Okay.
If you were the queen of tennis and you could make a change without any aggravation, what would you change?
Like, you mean change in a way of playing?
It can be anything. It can be rules.
Okay,
It can
so
be.
I know. I would change that we would wear only whites like we do at Wimbledon, but we would do it everywhere. I would change that. I would change that no women should be playing in shorts, only skirt. I would change that no coaches are allowed. And I would also change that some emotions maybe they would be allowed. No fines for screaming.
Just repeat that because I had just finish that last bit one last time, please.
No fines for screaming because emotions should be allowed, but not like crazy, but a little bit.
Loosen up the rules a little bit regarding decorum on the court.
Yes.
Loosen them up a little bit. You should be able to share some more.
Yeah, because I think also for the people can be more not fun, but like a show a little bit, because every time you have to control yourself, control the racket, control the words, and for it can be sometimes boring. You know what I mean? For the fans and spectators.
I do. I think when the match is fiery and things are heated up, it's great. I think that when tennis is played in exciting crowds, that that the players feed off the crowds. I'd like to see the tournaments do a better job filling the seats for all the matches, so that the players really vibe off the crowd in a way that makes it so much better.
Yeah, but it's tough. Like, we played in some tournaments and there are empty seats. It's not easy also to play.
No. Now, you're getting ready for an EXO. You're we're not back in business, but do you have any kind of feel for what the future may bring for tennis?
Uh, yeah, well, my feeling and my opinion is that it's not gonna happen anything this year. I think we try to start in January in Australia, but still it's gonna be, I think, without spectators. But I would be very, very surprised if there will be something happening this year. I'm This is my opinion, and I think it's impossible because we have to travel for the tournament, and it's so many of us, and all the restrictions from the governments are different. So you I don't think it's gonna happen this year. It's
Well,
just May, to be honest, but who knows?
listen, everyone's got to just simply just do the best we can, and
Yeah.
try to come out of it better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just really hard in tennis how to come out, which tournament, where, and how we get there. It's like you don't want to go to a tournament and stay there for 2 weeks for quarantine and play the tournament and then be in 2 weeks in another country in quarantine. You don't want to do that. So, yeah, it's going to be very difficult.
Yep. Barbora Strycova, thank you so much for doing this with me. I really
Of
appreciate
course.
it. And you are released. Thank you.
I really enjoy it. You had great questions.
I'm going to stop this.